saw somebody else pop on here. Who else was that? All right, then, Ms. Brown, they all right, Ms. Brown, I'm gonna shake my head. You can unmute and tell me good morning.
I did already, but I'll do it again. Good morning.
Now, can I hear you? Let's see. My volume down. Hold on. Let's see here. I don't know why that's happening. It
You're
happened
not
last
able to.
time.
You're not able to hear me.
Maybe I put my headset on and see.
Okay.
All right, say hello again.
Good morning.
I got you. I don't know
Okay.
why I have to have my headsets on for that, but I do. So, good morning, Miss Hardy, Miss Sampson, Miss Brown, Miss Monet, and also Miss Linda. But that's the first time me seeing Linda. So, hello, Linda. She's muted. All right. So, hold on a second. Let's get started. Here we go. Well, I'm glad you on, Miss Brown. We're gonna do this again then, since everybody seems pretty scary. We're starting at 32, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna let you start. So I do have my book this time. I didn't have before. So let's read down to, let's see where it says the jury of one, their conscience. And then we can talk about that.
Okay. So we are reading Champions Operate with a Clear Conscience. And it says, the world class tends to rely on intuition and conscience much more often than the masses, while average people are more concerned with what other people think of their actions. Professional performers answer to a jury of one, their conscience. One reason they're able to maintain high level, to maintain such high levels of constant concentration and intensity in their field of expertise is because they rarely carry mental baggage. With their conscience as their guide, champions often have greater mental clarity and internal focus than average people.
Okay,
Rotary
start right there. Start right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna back it up and go back to where it says uh, world class, depends on their intuition more than the masses. The average people are more concerned with what others think. And that's big because when we start a business, when we start doing things outside of the box, when we start doing things that are not the norm or the status quo, the things we've been taught to do, from go to school, get a good education, Get a good job, work hard. Part-time job could be FedEx, Delta, UPS. Anything outside of that, now we're concerned about how people think. Sorry to clear my throat. Now we're concerned about how people think because that's not the norm. See, when you're doing the norm, everybody's cool because you're inside the pack. Everybody's in that one pack, marching, going to school, getting a good education. And I'm not saying anything wrong with that. Getting a good job, I'm not saying anything wrong with that. Part-time job, maybe master's degree, PhD. That's a part of the system. You step outside of that system, that's when they start barking at you, talking about you. Are you crazy? What are you doing? That nobody does that. And we concern ourselves with that. And we let that bother us. And that keeps us from moving to another level. You see what it says the world class, they use their intuition and conscience, which intuition is really God. The intuition is really what God says. See, God, look, I know somebody will say, how you know this? Well, me and God, we talk a lot. And I think, in my opinion, God hates cowards because God has given us the strength, the knowledge, and the skill to go step out. And so every time we tippy-toe and afraid, most of us are tipping-toeing to death. We're going to die, but we tipping-toeing our way there, we're afraid what people are going to say. We're afraid that we're going to do something wrong. We're afraid that, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And the world class lives it the way it's supposed to be because they don't, their intuition, they go with it. Their they're conscious, they go with it. The average people, we concerned what our neighbors thinks. We concerned that our neighbor think we signed up in a home-based business. We concerned what the partners, the co-workers at the job concerned with. We are concerned with all those things, and we care about all those things, and it's slowing down our process, our progress. And most of the time, we don't even progress. It says here, you read down to where it says one reason they're able to maintain such high levels of concentration and intensity in their field of expertise that they rarely carry mental baggage with their and intensity in their field. But the average person carries that. I think about a lot of things that I do, and why do I concern myself about it? And that's those old programmings, the old programs that are running in our head, the stuff that we learned years back from our family, from our neighborhood, from our friends, the old programs. And those old programs got us tiptoeing through life. And we're afraid to try this. We're afraid to change that. We're afraid to, and you got to admit that first. You got to say to yourself, because every day, I'm going to tell you this, it's like a person, when you leave the house or when you wake up, it's like a person walking behind you. I mean, on your heels. So that means if you stop, that person runs into you. Guess what that person's saying to you all day? You're a fool. Don't try that. That's crazy. Ain't nobody intelligent. You ain't intelligent like those people. You need to stop doing that. You crazy. It's somebody walking with that voice right behind you on your heels. If you stop quickly, that person will run into you. And every day they're feeding your mind with that. Why get on that Zoom? Why read that book? You crazy. That ain't used to doing that. You know how people are going to talk about you if you start that? That voice is there. I don't care even how wealthy you get. The wealthier you get, what happens is you turn around and tell that voice to shut up. Means that voice don't walk on your heels as long as it does the average person. It's going to be walking back there, but it's not on your heels because the The person who's been dealing with this for years, who have started climbing the ladder, what they know is this. It ain't that the voice gonna be there when you wake up. It's that the quicker you starting to work to shut that voice up. See, the quicker you start moving on what you need to do when you wake up, like you have a list of stuff you need to do. I'm gonna do my affirmations. I'm gonna do a prayer. I'm gonna exercise. Then I'm gonna do my work. As soon as you start doing that and start moving on it, that voice kind of quiets down. But what most of us do, we sit on the end of the bed, we go get our coffee, and then we're listening to old buddy who's been walking behind us for years. We listen to him. I can't believe you still try to do that. I can't believe y'all still. And the world class will listen, but not as long. It's like, oh, you there again? You know, I remember how my grandmother used to say, she used to say at night, I don't know if y'all remember this saying, I might still be using it, but she said she used to wake up in the middle of the night because she felt like somebody, I'm sorry if I sound a little funny, I'm dealing with these sinuses again. I tried everything now. So if y'all got y'all special homemade formula for sinuses, you can inbox me or text me or something, because I've tried everything. And we'll try something else. I'm not afraid. But my grandmother used to say she felt like somebody was pulling at her leg while she was sleeping, and she'll wake up and she'll look down there and she'll say, oh, that's you, old Slewfoot. I ain't know that's what you call the devil back in the days, is Slewfoot or something. She's like, oh, that's just you, old Slewfoot. I'm gonna go back to sleep. It's like, Slewfoot. I don't know where that term came from, but that's how when we wake up in the morning, old Slewfoot right there, right behind us, telling us you ain't gonna be nothing. No need for you to be trying these things. You don't need to keep going. And they're gonna say it over and over until you turn around, tell that voice to shut up, and start getting to work on your plans for the day. Ms. Brown, did you get anything from that? What you read so far that you think that the people can use?
What stood out to me is that where the portion of the phrase, the mental baggage, and I would say for myself, the dumb stuff that I allow to float in my head, which is what you were just referring to. But that really stands out. Just talking about or referring to the mental baggage.
Right. So when you think of mental baggage, do you think of what things that you hadn't done, or things that you let get in your way, or mental baggage and mental baggage causes stress, and
Yes.
stress causes sickness in the body.
Yes.
It does. And people wonder, I remember hearing this from and it was so profound. What's the guy name that owns Amazon?
Is that Elon Musk?
Uh-uh.
Uh Jeff
Yeah,
Bezos?
Jeff Bezos. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So Bezos said that stress comes from not doing what you should be doing. You should be getting up in the morning doing your affirmations or praying. You should be getting up in the morning exercising. You should be calling people during the day about your business if you're building a business. You should be learning and training on how to grow your wealth, or either whatever it is, what it says, stress comes from you not doing what you know you should be doing. And once you start doing it, you realize you should have been doing it, I don't know how long ago. And then the stress kind of moves away. But a lot of us just put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off because we listen to old Slewfoot. Put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. And then we get stressful and stressful and stressful. And we have that mental baggage like you talked about. But if we start doing, just move on it. Just start moving on it. And I'm talking to myself. When I'm talking to you guys, I'm saying the same thing to Tony. Just move on it. I said it yesterday when it was something I was supposed to have been doing. I'm like, T, why you ain't moving on it? I mean, I stood right there in my kitchen just saying, talking to myself, man, why you ain't moving on it? And then I started doing it. And the relief kind of went away. It's like, you know, when you start doing it, it's almost like you can keep one thing on your mind at a time. It was that thing. And I'm like, when I started doing it, I saw where if I continue doing this certain thing, then I could see the growth. But I had to sit there in the kitchen and talk to myself for I don't know how long, arguing, why are you not doing this? And it's crazy that we do that. We let that old Slewfoot that been with us for so many years get in our ears and we don't fight it. You know, I think it's best that you might call somebody and tell them, you know, hey, it's like being a therapist. Yeah, hey, or the person you call is a therapist. You know, I should be doing this, right? And I'm not doing it. Give me something to make me go do it or something. Well, they can't make you do it. Give me something to inspire me. Tell me something that, you know, call the person that can be inspirational to you. Don't call, you know, broke down Billy who has given up and don't care no more. Because you call him, he gonna say, yeah, I was like that. And I realized that, you know, Ms. Brown, some people just ain't got it. Some people, that's a fixed mindset right there. Some people just, you know, I tried them books. I tried the motivational stuff and I tried that. And Ms. Brown, I'm going to tell you, you might be on to something. Just stop doing all of it. Matter of fact, come over to the house with me. We're going to watch some TV tonight. And then Saturday, we're going to play spades. And then we're going to hang out and do some more stuff. I found that more relaxing, Ms. Brown. So see, if you call that joker, you can't call that person because you know that person. But that person, you need somebody that you can call that will say, you got to get on it. Girl, you got to get on it. Let's do it. So do start at mental baggage again and read it down to the questions.
Okay.
Read the questions. Okay.
Wait a minute.
With
their conscience as their guide, champions often have greater mental clarity and internal focus than average people. Rotary International, www.rotary.com, an organization of business champions performing community service on a global level, has a great tool called the 4-way test. The idea is for Rotarians to answer 4 questions before making any major decisions. The questions are...
Wait. Hold on a second. You just did a program. Does anybody on here see what she did? It's a program running in your head and you just read it and you don't even know you did it. Is anybody on here who can open their mic and say what she did? Well, the only reason I ain't gonna say that, but I would say if you don't have your book in front of you, that's the only reason you didn't hear that program that she's running.
So wait, are you referring to when I read the site for Rotary International? The www.rotary.com.
You said .com. You said but it's .org. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But we so used to hearing .com. That's
right.
all we hear about. And so when we read that, that program in our head said .com.
Okay.
Even though it was big org right there. That's the kind of programming that we do all day long of our minds that's programmed. Like the first thing that gets to us, like at daycare, first grade, second grade, third grade, the government gets to us. So they feed us with these programs. The first thing that got to us when it comes to URLs was .com. That's all we heard for so many years. Then it came out with, you know, a lot of other different .org and blah, blah, blah. So even though this is a good example of programs, even though you saw that, you still said .com. And that's what we walking around every day doing with our life. I don't care what little thing we heard. Rich people are evil. You know, growing up in the hood, you can't tell me you didn't hear that. Somebody said that in the hood. I don't want to be like them because they're evil. So now you walking around with that program in your head. I don't care how long you've been trying to change your life. That bad boy's still there. And it has to be addressed. It has to be like when we read books, it's getting addressed because we pull it out. Now it's up to you to change it. I know how hard it is to change a program. I mean, it's super hard to change a program, how we think and how we operate. You know, somebody coming from your neighborhood ain't never done nothing. You're going to be sorry like your dad. You're going to be sorry like your mom. You're going to be, and these things you heard growing up or anything you heard in that household that contradicts you trying to change your life financially. I don't think most zip codes in the hood, we had a person or people, it might be a few, but I don't know. It's what you hear over and over and over, what programs you. It ain't that you got one person in the neighborhood that might be wealthy and might be saying a few things that you need to listen to. Okay, you heard that, but that doesn't program you. What programs you is that everything your friends say that you talk to every day, everything in your household that you hear, everything that your school teachers saying, everything that your parents are saying, that's what programs us. That repetition over and over and over and over. Rich people are evil. You know, you ain't gonna be wealthy. You shouldn't be striving for that. Over and over and over. And so we walk around all day long with that and don't realize we're doing it. All right. So the questions are?
The questions are: 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
So those questions can be used with any thought that we know from the years growing up. Remember, I always say that, and you can Google this, that the between the age of the womb and 7, 8 years old. What is that? What is that phase called?
Theta.
That's theta.
Theta. There we go. The theta phase. So during the theta phase, that's the programming area. That's the programming of our life right there. That's why the government wants to get to us early and start programming us on how to think. And we talked about this the other day in the on the private page. And anybody on here that's not on the private page, you need to join the private. We the 5%ers. Every day we talk about something. Really what we're doing is going through every page of this book now, even in the private page. But we talk about things that that we've been programmed on. And we got to question ourselves, like it says here. Ask yourself those 4 questions when you think of something. Can you be wealthy? Then you ask yourself, is this the truth? Or no, if the question is you can't be wealthy, you know, growing up in the hood, we heard that. Go get you a good job, work hard. Don't worry about that, because anything else you chasing money. But you can chase money by doing a part-time job, but it got to be UPS, FedEx, or Delta, the big companies. You can chase money by going to get a master's degree or a PhD. That's cool. But if you step outside that box and start talking about starting a home-based business and you chasing money that way, they're going to tear you up. They will rip you apart. I can't believe you doing one of those things. I can't believe you. They'll rip you apart. So ask yourself any question that you have in your head that you've been hearing for years. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial? Now, it don't have to be these questions. You can ask them. You can ask yourself any question concerning that. You know, when they say you can't be successful outside of the box, ask yourself, is that true or not? Do you see other people doing it? Have you seen other people? If one or two people have done it, that means you can do it. It's 4 or 5 other questions. I got to find those questions too that I used to emphasize a lot. I hadn't talked about it in years, but I used to, because I've been doing this 25 years. I know I look 25. Well, you know, don't be hating, but you know, let me see. See, Miss Tuesday not on here. She'll be hating. That's one of my haters there, boy. She always come quick with stuff. Yeah, and you went to Jackson State. I know. That's a good thing. But so go ahead, continue with the rest of it. We'll go from there.
The world class often follows such formulas in making important decisions. Champions know they can often fool other people, but they can never fool themselves. Amateurs pay a serious price for making decisions that are incongruent with their conscience, and their self-image is the first thing that suffers. The great ones know this is too high a price to pay. Self-image expert Nathaniel Brandon says, self-esteem is the reputation we acquire with ourselves. Being in touch, and living by their conscience is a hallmark of mental tough performers. Action step for today.
Don't do that yet. Hold on a second. Let's do.
Okay.
So world-class follows in formulas and making important decisions. Champions know they can often fool other people, but they can never fool themselves. See, champions know that when they walk in their home in the evening and shut that door, and when they go to the bathroom and look in that mirror, they know they can't fool themselves. It is what it is right there. It is what it is right there looking at you. Average people know that too, but we don't. The average people are better at trying to hide it in public. The world class doesn't want that. They want you to see what you see. See, the average person is cool with, you know, in public saying, I'm gonna be wealthy, you know, I'm I'm starting my business, I'm doing all that. They don't mind. The average person doesn't mind that you hear that. Even when they go home and look in that mirror and know that mirror tells them, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't trying nothing. You ain't going for it. You know you're not gonna do anything. Average person says, okay, only the mirror and myself hears that. What I tell the world is different, and I'm cool with that. But the world class saying, I don't like that. I want to be what I tell the world. I want to operate the what I tell the world. I don't want to put on a mask. Like most people out here are masked up. You don't know who you meet. You can talk to them. They masked up. You don't know when they're taking that mask off. They might not ever take it off. You might not friend them or not be friends with them, and the mask comes off later on. But while they dealing with you and while they dealing with the world, that mask is on and you don't even know it. But world class, they don't wear no mask. They like, hey, I am what I am. This is what it is. I'm a work in progress. You're gonna see it. And I'd rather have it that way than the average person is like, I used to say this, the average person is like this. They'd rather go buy big house, no furniture in it, no food in the refrigerator, but they got that house and they want you to know they got that house. If you ever come by to visit them, they already walking out the door. You ain't coming in the house to see ain't nothing in there. They just want you to know that they got that house on that street in that zip code. That's the average person. And the world class is like, man, I'd rather get a little house. I'd rather get a little car until I can really, truly get what I want to get. But the mindset of the masses, they're almost like, let me mask everything. And if it doesn't never happen, then it doesn't ever happen. But at least you think I'm doing good. And that's what most people feel like. They feel good if you think, because that's one of the most people are concerned about what other folks think. And you have to catch yourself, even if you're working on yourself, to realize that that's a part of everybody also. I had to catch myself a lot of times, like, wow, why am I concerned about that? Why am I concerned about how somebody else might think? Or what is it that I want them to be in? Why do I want this person to be impressed? What is it? And you have to think about it and talk about it all the time. You want to know why? Why am I concerned myself? And I can promise you this, you go back, it comes from programming at an early age. You will see that somewhere in your household or somewhere around the neighborhood that we're in, or the school teachers, or even the pastor. Somebody taught us that. Somebody programmed that in us for us to be concerned with why we worried about how other folks think. Somebody who we heard a lot programmed us in that. So amateurs pay serious price for making decisions that are incongruent with their conscience. I mean, the serious price is they bought this house, probably can't maintain it because they can't put no furniture in it or food in the refrigerator. That's a serious consequence from being incongruent with their conscience and their self-image. And the self-image is the first thing that suffers, especially when you realize that you playing a game of putting a mask on. Your self-image starts feeling bad, worse than it felt before, worse than it was before, because you know you have a mask on. You know that it's right there by the door, and when you get ready to go out that door, you grab that mask, put it on, and you go out into public. You know you're not facing the world being yourself. So facing your world with a mask on is worse to your self-image than just facing it as you and who you are and what you're doing. When he says famed psychologist Nathaniel Branden says self-esteem is the reputation we acquire with ourselves. Man, that's so on point. Self-esteem is the reputation we acquire with ourselves. So ourself, we know, the self knows that we faking the funk. The self knows that we got a mask on. And our self-esteem comes from that. And I'm telling you, self-esteem is one of the biggest challenges that we have with the masses. If our self-esteem was much higher, then we would do other things. We would attempt other things. We would try other things and wouldn't be concerned about whether we failed or not. We wouldn't be concerned about whether we won or not, because we just, the worst thing, what was the, I think Kanye had something in his song, said, what's the worst thing from failing? And he said, not trying at all. The worst thing from failing is not trying at all. And that's, a lot of us do that. When we don't try, it lowers our self-esteem even more. When we do try, and let's say we don't win, we have to get back up and try again. 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 Our self-esteem will come up, even if we don't win. When we walk in that door in the evening, we feel better about ourselves because we know the other people out there wearing masks also. We know they wearing them and you not. So being in touch and living by their conscience is a hallmark of mentally tough performers. All right, so what's the action step?
Action step for today. Ask this critical thinking question. Are all of my dealings congruent with my conscience? If the answer is yes, you empower yourself to succeed. If not, consider abandoning these deals or behaviors. Universal law dictates that whatever you sow, you shall reap. And the quote says, reason often
Let me ask you this. Is there anything you got from the action step? You can look back over if you want to.
To be real with myself.
Mm-hmm. And you know that the reason you're not is the programs that's running.
Correct.
So how do you, is it a way you plan on trying to be real more, or, you know, I mean, I'm just asking you on the spot. So you just read that, so I don't know if there's a plan.
Well, okay, so for me, I am choosing to focus on the questions, the 4 questions, and also this question: are my dealings? Am to just check with myself? Am I being real? Is this the real thing? And just to allow that to be in the forefront of my mind. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Am I being real?
Do you have a person you can bounce that off of that you know will be real with you, not broke down Billy?
I'm trying to think who. So I have to come up, you know,
Okay.
to just think about it and come up with someone.
Right. That's what these things about action step and the quotes, like up top, it says reason often makes mistakes, but conscience never does. Wow. But that's what all these are about, that we gotta start attempting, you know, some of these and don't just move on from them. Because if you read this book, every day there's an action step and a quote that you can apply to your life. And we can't just get off the Zoom and say, ooh, another book club. Thank you. Can't wait till next Saturday. I got that one done. No, you didn't. You didn't do the action steps. You didn't try to apply some of the stuff. And I'm not saying if you have done that, then that's fine. I'm saying that most people I know for a fact don't try to do any of these things. I mean, it's good to get you just to read it. So, all right, let's do the next one, Ms. Brown.
All right. Common sense is the foundation of high performance. Champions usually believe the essentials of life were learned in kindergarten. Their worldview is that success is simple and constructed fundamentally from common sense. While average people search for complex answers to their problems, the world class looks for the simple solutions first and usually finds it. They solve more complex challenges by looking at the situation as an outsider viewing it for the first time. Larry Wilson, the famous speaker and author, says the great ones get out of their own way by viewing the problem from 10,000 feet in order to gain a new perspective. They separate themselves from the everyday details and gain a three-dimensional view of the problem. While average people strain to create a solution, champions think for a while and then create a mental distance to take their direct focus off the problem. Many times the answers come to them in the shower, in the middle of the night, or at the health club while they're working out. The law of indirect effort is one of the most powerful problem-solving processes known to man. Champions realize the secret to tapping their true genius is sometimes hidden in the act of not trying so hard.
Wow. Let me go back and highlight this part here. Many times the answers come to them in the shower, or while sleeping or while working out. It's true. Every time I'm not too far from in Atlanta from the Chattahoochee Trail. That's a trail that goes around this river, the Chattahoochee River, that goes. It's crazy. The trail is kind of crazy. And sometimes I don't do that trail, but I'll just do, how they got a walking path and they got a trail. The trail, boy, it can get tricky, but the walking path is cool. And, but the walking path, shoot, you probably could walk 10 miles on that bad boy, maybe longer than that, and then turn around and come back. I remember when I first started doing it, I didn't realize how many miles I was walking. I came back, I'm like, I started setting that little thing on my phone, for steps. And that thing, I was doubling and tripling those 10,000 steps. I'm like, wow, I didn't know it was that far. So now I've come to my senses that I don't go that far. See, if I didn't have the step thing on, I wouldn't have never known. I could have been walking 10 miles and come back. But mentally, it got in my head, fool, how long you gonna keep walking? The little dude behind you, so mentally it got in my head. But my point is, man, I've come up with so many answers and solutions while I'm out there. Honestly, I'm listening to, mindset stuff. I'm listening to my music. And a lot of times I get in a point where that Wi-Fi is not acting right. I'll turn it off and it still won't pick up right. And at that point is when I start coming up with solutions, because I don't have nothing in my ear. I don't have anything going on. I'm just walking. I used to be frustrated about that, but then I started getting answers from that. I don't know if I can just take off on that trail without anything. I don't know. My head might be attacking me. My old thoughts might be attacking me. But when I get to a point where the Wi-Fi won't pick up and I can't listen to anything, then the answers start coming. It's like, which means I should go out there with nothing, but nah, I'm not mentally strong enough for that right now. But also when it talks about the shower, because of my sinuses, which is, it comes when you least expect it almost, because I can go 10 months out the year, 11 months out the year, and don't be concerned myself with it. I feel good, I'm healthy, and then all of a sudden it creeps up on me. And I'm like, God, I got this stuff in the cabinet, but I'm not taking it because I don't want to take it. And it just creeps up on me. And the next thing you know, it's on me hard. It's like, boom, and put the blanket on top of me. Like, God, I hadn't even thought about any sinus issues. But my point is, the last 2 or 3 days, I just been jumping in the shower like 2 or 3 times to get that steam, you know, coming in. And I came up with all kind of thoughts while I was in the shower. I mean, I came up with all kind of solutions, all kind of things I need to attempt. I mean, I was jumping out that shower, drying off right quick so I can get on the phone to call somebody, which normally I wouldn't be calling them at that point. But that thought came to me while I was in the shower. That thought came to me on that second shower. And I'm in there for another reason. I'm in there to get that steam in here. But thoughts come to me there because it's quiet. Everything is shut off. You know, it's like meditation. When you start meditating, it's kind of hard for people to do it because all of a sudden the truths and everything else, that dude walking behind you is talking to you more and more and more. That's why people got to have TVs on and all kind of noise running so they don't try to hear old Slewfoot. But Slewfoot is in your ear. Now, the thing is about meditation, after about 10 minutes, it shuts down, that voice. But most people don't get there. Most people don't get that 10 minutes in before they quit because it's you getting attacked. That monkey mind is jumping on you that first 10 minutes. If you shut off everything and just sit there, you ain't got to put the phone away, put everything away. Now, you can't fall asleep. That's what most people start doing, kind of, is fall asleep. But if you just sit there, that monkey mind, that Slewfoot is coming at you hard. Fool this, fool that. Are you crazy? So most people stop that before the 10 minutes or whatever time it comes to where that noise kind of quiets down. And then you start thinking about other things. That's why people meditate every day for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because it clears that mind and gives you a whole different thought process. And again, I'm talking to me like I'm talking to you, because guess what? I dropped my meditation probably about 3-4 months ago. Now I'm gonna start back because I'm bringing this up. Now, why did I bring it up? I wouldn't bring this up watching the news. I wouldn't bring this up, you know, I don't know, watching some crazy stuff. I bring it up, or it came to my mind because of something I read in the book. That's why I said the book will pull up a lot of things in you. And also for me, reading for me for years, and still is for years, because you got to understand, I've been out here for years, you know, eating what I kill. I probably ain't had a salary since 1995. So from 96 to now, which is 26 years, almost 27 years, the only way I ate is what I killed, meaning that the only way I ate was from commission. I had to go out every day and make a sale. I had to go out and, you know, whatever it is I had to do to bring money in. And you know what the books did for me? I mean, it was days I want to give up, but reading 10 pages in a book, 5 pages in a book each day, it gave me the strength to get up the next day. I read another 5 pages. It gave me the strength to keep fighting. It gave me the strength just to, because I didn't have anybody in my ear telling me you can do it, Tony. Matter of fact, the people I had were, you know, I think I saw something what Minister Farrakhan said, where when God plucks you, he only plucks like one person from the family. He plucks that person because he knows that you are built for this and you can deal with this, and neighbors, friends, family members are not going. He says, because when the neighbors, friends, and family members start getting at you, it doesn't bother you, because you know that you are meant to do something different. You know that. So when God plucks you out that family, and you normally it's just one person, that's the one everybody says crazy. Tony lost his mind. He crazy. You know, my sister is a appellate court judge in New Orleans, and everybody always, you know, your sister, and that's my people. That's my. I ain't got one sister, and I mean, I love my sister, and we talk every day. But when they bring her up, then they like, you know, Tony, that was a crazy one. You know what I'm saying? But think about this now. I just talked to my mom the other day. The crazy one was the one that was giving her so much money that I had to stop giving it to her because she didn't know what she was doing with it. It got to a point, at one point, probably in 2014 or 2013, I just had to stop because she had so much. And me and my sister had an agreement anyway. I said I would take care of all the family stuff, the bills, and you talk to my mom every day. See, I couldn't talk to her every day because we'll be bumping heads. My sister can talk to her every day. But after about 2 times of me and her talking, so that was the agreement. And so dang, I just said so much I lost track. What was I talking about? Oh, answers in the shower. Or no, I was talking about deprogramming and reprogramming from books. Because the books would bring up all my old programs. And then I got to address that. Because if you're going to become successful financially, whatever, them old programs, they blocking you. You got to say to yourself, can I keep living with this thought that I can't change my life financially? Can I keep living with this thought that, you know, rich people are evil? That whole thought, that process right there, man. And you don't think that you believe that. Matter of fact, again, if you can figure it out, it ain't a program. I mean, no, if you can believe, it's not a program. What I'm trying to say, programs we don't even know are there. We go all day long on old programs and don't realize all we see is the 10% of what we kind of thinking about during the day. 90% is our old thinking that's running, and we don't even know it's running. We don't even know that program is running. You know, we don't even know it. So it's kind of hard for us to change it. Now, when we start reading books, if you really read the books, think about when they start talking about the thought process about money and all that. How do you feel? How do you feel? Then that's the question that everybody needs to ask. How do I feel about this? If it's awkward or you don't, that's a program. If you look and see facts right in your face, I mean, right in your face, and you disagree with it, that's a program. That's a program. So let's talk about the action step.
Action step for today. Write down your 5 most pressing problems and ask, is there a kindergarten answer to this seemingly complex problem? Let your mind revert to childlike thinking and write down the first answers that come to mind.
What do you think about that? Write down your 5 most pressing problems and ask, is this a kindergarten answer to this seemingly complex problem? Write them down. Y'all do that today. Write them down. Let your mind revert. But I promise you, the challenges that you write down, it's going to come back to the programming of what we've been doing all our life and why we think that way. And is that way really how it really is? Or that's just, you know, like when you get a new laptop, then you got to put the programs on there. Is that from that? Or is it from the real? And probably I can bet you it's from the program. So the quote, common sense is the knack of seeing things as they are and doing things as they ought to be. Seeing things as they are and doing things as they ought to be, which sometimes is a big difference. So that's it, folks, today. And Ms. Brown, I thank you again for stepping up. I like your hat. What is that? Is that diamonds? I know it's not diamonds in the hat, but
Bling, bling.
bling, bling, bling. I got you the bling, bling in the hat. Thank you. And I appreciate
you.
everybody who got on today. Y'all got to share this book club, man, and tell more people to get on. I don't understand. You know, it's only an hour on Saturday. This thing should be blasting. It should be no room at the end for people coming on. But it says a lot. It really does. So
Tony, it speaks to the people, not to the content.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Speak to the people, not the content. And I was moving around a little bit this morning because I had an appointment, but I wanted to make sure I jumped on it. It was I'm not sure how long it'll take to get the audio out from this recorder, but I would love to listen to it again if possible. This was a great one for me.
Thank you.
Great.
That's on Ms. Dyer to get that out.
Okay, I'll reach out to you.
All right. I put everything on Ms. Dyer. Man, we need to get new pens. Oh, that's on Ms. Dyer right there. She can get that out for you. Need t-shirts. That's on Ms. Dyer. We need to pray more. Ms. Dyer, that's on Ms. Dyer. Ms. Dyer can handle everything. You know what I'm saying? She got it. So thank you again, Miss Brown. And Ms. Dyer say, what did she say? Difficult takes a day and impossible takes a week. That's Ms. Dyer. That's her quote. Difficult takes a day. Well, really, that's Jay-Z, but Ms. Dyer, difficult takes a day and impossible takes a week. All right. We out of here. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good Saturday.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Have a good day.
I don't know what I'm doing here.